The lonely alien queen demanded a partner, and she won't release her human. Captain Alex Reed knew trouble when it appeared on a scanner. The Starseeker's warning system blared as an unidentified energy beam locked onto the ship, pulling it toward the shimmering turquoise planet below. System override unsuccessful, the ship's AI announced calmly. Unknown tractor technology detected. Alex gripped the command chair as the Starseeker shuddered. Atmosphere friction turning the viewports orange. Deploy countermeasures. Countermeasures ineffective, the AI replied. Receiving transmission. A melodic voice filled the bridge. Human vessel, you have entered the sovereign space of Luminara. Your safe landing is assured. Please do not resist. Alex's attempts to regain control proved futile as the ship was guided with unexpected gentleness toward a gleaming crystal spire rising from an iridescent city. The landing was smoother than any Alex had managed in years of piloting. Before the captain could reach for the emergency sidearm, the airlock cycled open. 3 tall figures entered, humanoid but clearly alien, with skin that shimmered between blue and violet, depending on how light struck it. Their eyes were large, luminous, with vertical pupils. The central figure stepped forward. I am Torin, Royal Guard Commander. Her Majesty Queen Ilara of Luminara requests your presence. Requests. Alex raised an eyebrow. You pulled my ship from orbit. Torin's expression remained neutral. The Queen's requests are honored as commands. Please follow. Alex was escorted through corridors of impossible architecture, crystal, and light-forming structures that seemed to defy physics. The palace interior pulsed with subtle energy, as if the building itself were alive. They entered a vast chamber where light danced across mirrored surfaces. At its center, seated upon a throne that appeared carved from a single massive gemstone, was Queen Ilara. She was stunning. Taller than her guards, with skin that shifted between deep violet and midnight blue. Her eyes were like silver moons, wide and curious. When she saw Alex, she stood abruptly, an expression of wonder crossing her face. A human. She breathed, her voice musical. You're truly here. Alex stepped forward cautiously. Your Majesty, I'm Captain Alex Reed of the Earth vessel Starseeker. May I ask why you've brought me to your world? Queen Ilara circled Alex slowly, studying every detail. Fascinating, just as the archives described. She addressed Alex directly. For centuries, we've collected transmissions from Earth. Your stories, your history, your art. They speak of such passion and resilience. That doesn't explain why I'm here, Alex insisted. Ilara's silver eyes flashed. My people live for centuries, Captain Reed. With such longevity comes stability, but also stagnation. We need new perspectives. She stepped closer. I studied humans extensively. Your adaptability, your creativity, qualities my world desperately needs. One of the guards cleared his throat meaningfully. Ilara straightened, suddenly formal. As queen, it is my duty to strengthen my realm. After careful consideration of all known species, I have determined humans possess optimal complementary traits. Her voice softened. I have chosen you, Captain Reed, as my potential mate. Alex stared in disbelief. You dragged my ship across space to date me. Date. Ilara tested the word. Yes, I believe it aligns with your customs of courtship before permanent pairing. This isn't how humans typically begin relationships. Alex replied carefully. Ilara's confidence faltered. Have I misunderstood? Our archives are extensive but imperfect. If I've offended, I'm not offended, just surprised. Alex studied the Queen, noting genuine concern in her expression. On Earth, we usually start with conversation. Ilara brightened immediately. Conversation. Yes, of course. She dismissed the guards with a gesture. Torin, prepare guest quarters for Captain Reed. The finest we have. As the guards exited, she turned to Alex with unmasked enthusiasm. Now tell me everything about Earth. Spare no detail. We have all night. Alex realized with growing resignation that returning to the Starseeker wasn't going to be simple. The alien queen watched expectantly, her silver eyes shining with fascination. "Well," Alex began cautiously, "what would you like to know first?" Queen Ilara's idea of human courtship rituals proved both amusing and alarming. By morning, Alex's quarters contained a mountain of bizarre gifts. Crystalline flowers that sang when touched, exotic fruits that changed flavor with each bite, and a small creature resembling a cross between a cat and a jellyfish that purred melodically while floating near the ceiling. "These offerings please you?" Ilara asked eagerly during a palace tour. She'd exchanged her formal regalia for simpler attire, though the fabric still shimmered with embedded light. "They're certainly unique," Alex replied diplomatically. "On Earth, we typically start with dinner or coffee." Ilara's eyes widened. "Food sharing, a primal bonding ritual. I've neglected basics." She immediately ordered a feast prepared, incorporating what she believed were Earth delicacies based on intercepted transmissions. The resulting meal featured approximations of pizza, tacos, and something vaguely resembling ice cream, all created with alien ingredients that made each bite an adventure. "Is this courtship progressing adequately?" Ilara asked, watching Alex sample each dish with scientific curiosity. Alex considered the situation carefully. Behind Ilara's eager exterior lay a brilliant mind governing an advanced civilization. Her interests seemed genuine, not merely political. "Your Majesty." "Ilara," she corrected softly, "when we're alone." "Ilara," Alex continued, "why me specifically? Surely there are other humans who might be more suitable." The Queen's luminescence dimmed slightly. "Your vessel entered our sensor range when I was reviewing potential species for alliance. The timing seemed providential." She hesitated. "Also, your records indicate extensive exploration experience. You've encountered 17 different civilizations. Your adaptability index is exceptional. You accessed my ship's database." "Of course." Ilara looked confused by the question. "How else would I evaluate compatibility?" Alex sighed. "On Earth, we consider personal information private." Ilara's expression fell. "I've transgressed again." She rose from the table in obvious distress. Perhaps humans and luminarians are too different after all. Before Alex could respond, Torin burst into the chamber. "Your Majesty, we've detected Krell vessels entering the system." Ilara's demeanor transformed instantly from uncertain suitor to commanding monarch. "Battle stations. Deploy the shield network." "Who are the Krell?" Alex asked, as they hurried through corridors suddenly alive with activity. "Conquerors," Ilara replied grimly. "They've sought our crystal technology for generations. Until now, our defenses have deterred them." They entered a command center where holographic displays showed several ominous vessels approaching. Alex recognized military formation patterns. "Your Majesty," a technician called. "They're broadcasting on all frequencies." A harsh voice filled the chamber. "Luminara, your isolation ends today. Surrender your crystal knowledge or face extinction." Ilara stood tall. "Luminara does not surrender." As the communication ended, Alex studied the tactical displays, noting a fatal flaw in the Luminarians' defense strategy. "Your shield configuration leaves a vulnerability," Alex pointed out. "The Krell formation suggests they've identified it too." Ilara stared in surprise. "You can read our tactical systems. The principles are universal." Alex stepped forward. "With your permission, I might have a solution." The Krell attack came with brutal efficiency. Their warships, angular constructs of dark metal, fired concentrated energy beams at Luminara's shields. The barrier held, but alert signals flashed across command consoles. "Shield integrity at 70% and falling," reported a technician. "They're targeting the harmonic nodes exactly as Captain Reed predicted." Alex studied the holographic display showing the Krell formation. "Their tactics are impressive but predictable. They're using a standard encirclement pattern. Ilara watched Alex with newfound respect. "What do you suggest?" "Your ships are faster but less heavily armed," Alex observed. "Instead of matching their firepower, use your maneuverability. And there's something else." Alex quickly outlined a plan that made use of the Starseeker's unique capabilities. The human vessel was small and insignificant to the Krell, but carried experimental technology that could temporarily disrupt their targeting systems. "This plan risks your ship," Ilara noted with concern. "I've survived worse odds." Alex replied with the confident half-smile that Ilara was beginning to find fascinating. As Luminaran vessels executed Alex's suggested patterns, the Starseeker slipped through the battle zone, approaching the Krell command ship. Using the disruption technology, Alex managed to blind their sensors long enough for the Luminaran forces to target the previously identified vulnerabilities in the Krell formation. The battle turned. 2 Krell ships retreated with significant damage. The remaining vessels regrouped defensively. "They're hailing us," announced Torin. The Krell commander appeared on screen, reptilian features twisted in fury. "This tactic is not Luminaran. You've allied with outsiders." Ilara stepped forward. "Luminara chooses its friends carefully, Commander. Perhaps you should reconsider your choices." After tense negotiations, the Krell agreed to withdraw under terms that would allow them to save face with their leadership. As the threat receded, celebration erupted throughout the command center. Ilara approached Alex quietly. "You risked everything for a world not your own. Why?" Alex considered before answering. "Explorers seek new perspectives. Defending your world seemed like the right thing to do." "Is that humanity's way? Risking lives for strangers?" "Not always," Alex admitted. "But at our best, yes." Later, during a ceremony honoring the defense of Luminara, Ilara formally recognized Alex's contribution. The Luminaran public, initially wary of the human visitor, now watched with curious approval as their queen bestowed their highest honor upon the outsider. What began as a bizarre first contact was evolving into something neither had anticipated: genuine mutual respect. That evening, on a crystal balcony overlooking the capital city, Ilara spoke with uncharacteristic hesitation. "Your ship has been repaired. You could return to your exploration if you wish." Alex watched the twin moons rise over Luminara's horizon. "Is that what you want?" Ilara's skin shimmered with emotion. "I began seeking a mate for political advantage. I did not expect to find." She trailed off. "A friend," Alex suggested. "Perhaps more than that." Ilara replied softly. "If you would consider it." 6 months later, an Earth diplomatic vessel approached Luminara, responding to the unprecedented message sent by Captain Alex Reed. It carried scientists, diplomats, and cultural experts, Earth's first official delegation to the Crystal World. They were greeted by both Queen Ilara and Captain Reed, whose position as Royal Consort and Earth Ambassador had raised eyebrows throughout the United Earth government. "Your report mentioned technological exchange opportunities," said Admiral Chen, leading the Earth delegation. "It failed to mention you'd married the Queen." "Not married exactly," Alex clarified. "Luminaran partnership rituals are more complex." "And more binding," added Ilara with a subtle smile. The resulting alliance transformed both civilizations. Luminaran crystal technology revolutionized Earth's energy systems, while human creativity and adaptability brought new perspectives to the ancient Luminaran culture. In the royal chambers, Alex examined a newly installed communications array that maintained contact with Earth vessels throughout the sector. "Having regrets?" Ilara asked, joining Alex at the viewport. "About staying?" "No." Alex turned to face the Queen. "Though I never imagined first contact would end like this. Did humans not have tales of travelers finding new homes among the stars?" "We did," Alex acknowledged. "We just didn't expect them to be true." Ilara's skin shimmered with the particular frequency that Alex had learned signified contentment. Perhaps that is humanity's greatest strength, seeing possibilities where others see only fantasy. A year after Alex's unexpected arrival, Luminara hosted representatives from 12 worlds, forming the foundation of an interstellar cooperative that would eventually span the sector. At its center stood the unlikely partnership between a human explorer and an alien queen, proof that bridges could be built across the vast differences separating sentient beings. In private moments, Ilara sometimes marveled at the cosmic coincidence that had brought Alex's ship within range of Luminara. "Do you ever wonder what would have happened if your ship had chosen a different course that day?" she asked once. Alex smiled. "I'm an explorer. I don't wonder about roads not taken. I'm too busy discovering where the chosen path leads." And as their worlds grew closer, neither doubted they had chosen correctly.